Okay, so today we can get into the last unit, and that's your CMMS. We call this a Computerized Maintenance Management Systems. So here we're just looking at the computer hardware and software development, and we have such significant advances in these areas, and these advances have affected most areas of our businesses and industries. And that include maintenance planning and management, and you're in this field for this course. Whenever industrial technologists, we definitely need to know a part of that because we're dealing with incredible amount of technology from equipment to software. And computerized maintenance management systems. System is nothing but it's just something that's ready with many different parts. Okay, and we call that systems. And I told you since the beginning of this class to you understand the systems are in many different sizes, okay, many different sizes, from little system all the way to big infrastructure. Like, so the second last research that I study is on the 5th generation network. So that's a huge system all over the world, okay? So what we're trying to do is a precision targeting. It's called a data targeting directly to your phone. So instead of in telecommunication, if you look at this, a cell tower, okay, we're not transmitting the data that way anymore. It's going to be a precision targeting to your cell phone, okay? So now our telecommunication technology is that powerful. So what we're trying to tell you here right now is since we use a lot of CMMS, okay, systems, computerized systems, and it's kind of like becoming a requirement in our industries, and therefore that's why you need this degree to be able to manage technology, okay, in the industries and also actually use them. So CMMS today, we use them for many aspects of maintenance planning, management, and control, okay? We always have to plan in order to manage, okay? And management is nothing but controlling a system. So if you do not have the ability to control a system, it's really difficult, okay? So you gotta constantly plan, and then if your plan fails in your management, you have to change, okay, in order to come up with a new design to successfully control and manage your system. Okay, now we use incredible amount of CMMS, right? That is good for us. Okay, so what do we need to do it? So we need definitely maintenance equipment history. We have already learned that in early chapters. We need a scheduling, okay, preventive and then or predictive maintenance activities. You have to know the differences between these two maintenance type. Tracking personal skills. We do a lot of tracking in every businesses in the United States, okay? There's a word Uncle Sam knows everything and we do, okay? And that's not like trying to personal, okay, violating your personal privacy, not at all. It's just like trying to protect you, okay, within the same systems. So same as all the Microsoft devices are protected, okay, by the Microsoft security. That's why you need to do updates. If you do not do the updates to your computer, your security system is going to fail because there are people who are curious and they do not have ethics. They do not have morality. It's pretty low. They're not supposed to be doing to enter in someone else's system, but they are capable of doing breaking that line or crossing that line. So therefore, you always have to have a preventive system. So back here to maintenance planning, okay, control management, the same thing, tracking, personal scale, assigning maintenance tasks, all right, is for the security of the system. Now, based on these skills, then we're going to streamline the spare parts inventory management, okay, and producing a vast array of manager, okay, reports. So everything's are routinely performed and we can do it. Okay, humans cannot be able to do it because we make mistakes. Humans can go into fatigue. We all get tired. Every time we get tired, our skills go down, our ability to perform the task go down. Okay, so therefore we're now heavily rely on the computers. Yeah. So same as that, like, can you be able to remember all of the assignments that I give it to you, or notes or handouts? If I give it to you a long time ago, you have to sit down and take the notes with you to study, okay, and then get your books. Some of the students don't even have books at that time. So now everything is perfectly organized in a canvas, all right, learning performance systems right in there for you, and all you have to just download it, and even though you don't want to do it, right? So anyway, so we're heavily depending on computers for almost everything. Why? Computers can do more than the human, okay? So other maintenance related activity such as planning, okay, alternate scheduling scenarios, reliability studies, and root cause analysis, we do all that. Okay, why? Because it can benefit from sophisticated and advanced software programs, okay, that use a computer simulation and then modeling. So these simulation and modeling, we need them all the time in order for us to be able to do this, okay, preventive and predictive. So right here, all you have to understand is we are using the computers. We're using software like simulation modeling. What are we doing? Doing this, okay? Planning the alternate scheduling, reliability study, root cause analysis, okay? The fishbone diagram, little fishbone diagram you drew last week, okay? In the real life, some people asking me in real life is more complicated. You're gonna have more branches. You're gonna have like the entire, like I say, it's a blueprint, okay? Because you've got to track and put in every possible constant there's in the world for you to study that effect, whatever effect you are studying. Okay, you're not just drawing only one time, you are drawing the system and then all the effect that can cause. Okay, and then you're going to put in one by one all the causes, sub causes, all right, contributing to many different kinds of effect, by the way. So anyway, so when you have a problem, you can go to that chart and take a look at it. Okay, this system is running, that part is running, this component is okay. Where is it going wrong, right? What is it that is causing this effect, negative effect? And how can we fix it? So that's how we check one by one. So you can pinpoint the problem and the issue very quickly, okay? And with computer is even better. This is just showing you a maintenance employee record. This is what it looks like. Almost all the programs. They're kind of boring, but then anyway, so this is how and you gotta like look into each tab like that, and then you gotta know all functions, all right, and then how to fill in these steps, right? So that depends on in the job that you will be performing, and they have like a relatively similar program, right, from business to business and from job to job. It's a lot of paperwork, by the way. And then for scheduling and to measure various maintenance activities. So that's what we do for labor tracking. And we use a proper, again, craft codes. Coding is so important. Why do we have to code? Because the description is too bulky. So everything that is bulky, we're going to put it in code. So that way, okay, you can be able to communicate faster. And also when you communicating with particular people and you don't want other group to understand, you go by the code. Yeah? So it is necessary to maintain an accurate and complete inventory, okay, of your personal skills as well. And that's how we do the labor tracking by using the CMMS. vendor and manufacturer information. So here is an example of a volume, okay, computer software, and you're going to see the vendor and manufacturer information. These are kind of old, all right, data system. So right now you have, it's a little bit like they might put the appearance to be different, but then the functions are the same. Okay? They look, see, very much the basic operating system, all right, Windows, not like the user or consumer side Windows. Okay, this is a functional side. So anyway, important part of any maintenance organization resources is information about all vendors and contractors, all right, that have sold equipment or provided service to the company. That's so important in order for us to continue with the same, all right, customers and the vendors. So these are all the contractors for your businesses, and it's important that you have their information. Okay, so what we have to do, so records should contain basic data. So that's the kind of the data we want, all right, your address, and then the contact person. So in that way, you can be able to deal with this vendor to continue the business. In addition, other pertinent information such as a list of all items and equipment supplied by each vendor in ordering methods, terms, contract agreements, irrelevant comments, okay, they should all be recorded systematically, right? In CMMS. So why do we need that? Because you are doing business with them. You know, if you do not have their address or contact person, how are you going to communicate with them? So therefore, everything that you do, you need them. All the activities that you do with them, you need them. Okay, so therefore, put them in a organized system and computers. We rely on them. Alright, inventory management, the same thing. The CMMS should keep track of all facilities or maintenance parts, the recording part numbers, your stock location, quantities on hand, and also unit cost. So these are everything that's going to go into, alright, the inventory record. So this is what an inventory record looks like. They can really see inside, but you don't have to know everything in details. Alright, we have to know is for inventory management, we use the Computerized system, your CMMS, and the record looks like this in the software, right? In the program. Alright, so this was additional features of your spare parts inventory record. Since you're in the maintenance, you always have to deal with the spare parts, and it's a major inventory records. Again, we use a computer to do that because people cannot be able to systematically organize the data in our head. So therefore, we have to use the computer. Okay. Our additional features are useful to include an inventory management system. Okay, there are a list of parts that may be substituted for the inventory item. Then we have cross-references and links to all the vendor records again, alright, that supply the parts. So why? Because they're stakeholders, very important for the business continuity, okay? Anyway, these are your additional features in the program on CMMS. Now, the next one is your equipment data. So that's your equipment data screen. It tells you everything about equipment, and you can see right here about equipment number, type, serial number, model, manufacturers, okay, vendor ID, where you got it. So at school, okay, in Mississippi State University, we also have this one in our inventory. So the same thing, but maybe they use a little bit different software which doesn't look like this, but then the functions are the same. Okay, so the equipment records, they refer to any object on which maintenance is tracked. In our case, because we're studying the maintenance, so therefore what we're tracking is the maintenance objects. So equipment data such as number, type, model, series numbers, manufacturer, and purchase date, they're all essential fields or information that we need to put in this type of records. So spare parts data, how here relationships between the equipment and its components, they're also part of the equipment record. Okay, so anyway, this is what equipment record looks like, and those are the information that we put in to record. Now history, equipment history, warranty data, service contract records are also maintained in the records for each piece of equipment. In our CMMS, all right, it specifies if the service contract or warranty covers the equipment and needed repairs. So you can, all right, extract the history anytime you want if you systematically record them. So safety information about the equipment is also included as part of your equipment record. So here is scheduling. Again, scheduling is very important in maintenance, and scheduling should be based on the equipment needed. Availability, again, is very important of qualified personnel, and then your production schedule. Okay, so here that's scheduling features in the CMMS. So our CMMS can accomplish the scheduling of maintenance activities according to site, employee, or work order scheduling. Okay. Alright, then we get into our predictive maintenance. We have already studied this. So here in the program, you're gonna see this as statistical predictive maintenance input data. So what are we inputting? So we're inputting all of this, okay? So you have equipment number, measurement right here, and then here is your manufacturer specification here, what's been accepted, okay? And here is your standard deviation clarification. We're using two standard deviation right here in this example. All right, so this is statistical predictive maintenance features of CMMS can identify equipment readings outside the control limits and allow you to schedule the required maintenance procedures, and we do that before the equipment fails. This is nothing but if we use a stat feature, right, of the software, we can be able to identify the reading outside the control limits, because all the stat data, we're dealing with the tolerances, we're dealing with the specifications, and we're dealing with the lower and upper limits, okay? Because our work is within these limits, so the limits are so important. And why it is so important? Because by using this software, you can be able to know, all right, if you're in this if you're in this range or not before your equipment fails. All right, we can reference them all the time. So therefore, this type of data is very important. Now, periodic graphs and reports. Graphs are really good for visualization, because if you read the long list of numbers, if you read, okay, the descriptive, data or stat, you can be able to understand. But when you look at the graph, you can't be able to understand right away. Yeah. So report show the readings and trend for a specific matrix, for example, the equipment temperature or vibration readings. We did the temperature, we can't be able to do the vibration in our class because of the limitation of equipment. Okay, we don't have, I have to find money by getting grant or donation, okay, to develop. So I'm doing virtual reality, okay, labs, and we're developing, so it's very exciting. So the future of students are going to get that. And then I'm developing metrology, which is linked to the VR lab. Then I'm also developing this maintenance class. Okay, they're all linked anyway, so that's pretty exciting. So right now I'm in the transition or semester, so couldn't be able to do as much as I truly want to do for you guys. So so that's because of the transitions. Every time there's a change in the department, then there's a lot of work that we have to do to improve the program. Okay, so I am redesigning courses right now. So anyways, the potential equipment failure can be determined based on comparison with the manufacturer's specification. Okay, so this is like, specifications are so important again, because we want that alert right before the equipment fails. So the potential failure, right, we're trying to determine that by using these specifications. So average reading, standard deviation, or data trends from your graph, okay, maybe based on multiple matrices, whatever that is, okay, this kind of data, right, totally organized in our software in CMMS definitely help us, all right, to be able to predict, all right, equipment failure so that we can protect the equipment. Okay, this is a very small chapter, so now we're on work orders. So work orders, they're generated automatically. Then where do we use it? We use it for scheduled preventive maintenance actions, not just activities, or they may be created manually, okay, by hand, by filling out a form for corrective and emergency situations. It depends on that. Um, so here you can see a sample work order data. This is software. Software usually looks the same with the boring same window, but then you have to carefully read which tab you are in. Okay, so here we're on the work order. Okay, tab and you can be able to fill these functions necessary data for the page. And work orders may be generated for single or multiple equipment tasks, like for ready or hold or task, or specific tasks like locations or equipment. This is just trying to tell you like how you can be able to customize your work orders. So you can customize it to be a single. You can customize it to be a multiple, okay, tasks. I mean equipment tasks. Or purchase orders. So in addition to tracking the spare parts inventory and updating records according to receipts, right, return issues, and so on, purchase orders are for parts. So every time you buy parts, you have the purchase orders that can be issued, okay, from requisitions, or they may be generated manually for non-inventory items, right? Because for non-inventory items, you're just gonna go with your purchase orders, right? Purchase orders are nothing but it's just for the parts that you purchase, okay? It can be issued, all right, manually, okay? Security. So CMMS is a system so that it should provide a common database across the facility so that all information is again entered only once and current data is always available when needed. Okay, so they have every computer system has logs, all right? And most of the consumers or users, they don't know how to read the logs. They don't even know where the log exists, all right? Anyway, so that's how we uh, uh, when you know like when you go into security, what we do is we check these logs, all right, so that you know, all right, so if you have a user who's using this, but then there are other logs, okay, different from the assigned user, then you know the system has been touched by someone else or something else, okay. So that's how we maintain again the databases, okay, that way. So what are we doing? So we're checking the logs, right? And you can also probe a robot to check, all right, it's a system robot to check, all right, behind the scene, the log, all right, port logs. The same thing as your computer science, all right, the principles are about the same thing. So because CMM is a computerized system, so therefore it comes with all the features of the computerized security system. So the same things with the computer science, yes. And what do we have to do is there are people who cross the lines, all right? People's morality, they're not proportional, okay? They're just going the way they want to do, and you cannot be able to know what another individual is thinking, all right? So you might be thinking like it can't happen, but a lot of right, a lot of things can happen to the system, so every time you have to deal with the systems. So anyways, the security is always a part of the systems, all right? For manufacturing and maintenance, all right? For the manufacturing systems are very important because if you get into Fortune 500, all right, companies, you can't have any kind of disruption in the system at all, okay? Because if you do, that is going to like a domino effect, all right? That's going to mess up with the supply chain to all over the world, right? We don't want that to happen. So therefore the security for the computerized CMMS, right, is so important. Again, you're learning the maintenance or not for your car. Okay, that's just a little simple system that we're referring to as an example. You have to think about this maintenance system that you're studying is on the big system, very big systems, right? Military, marine, in case you have, and the military, there are three of them, the Air Force, your marine, and then your army, okay? They have all kinds of equipment, all right, that you need to maintain from little, all right, to all the way to big systems. So you don't know where you're going to get the job. So our job here is to give you every okay foundations that you need to understand the systems and the equipments. Equipments are nothing but just like the things that you have to maintain. So anyways, the security is so important. Okay, nowadays it's even more important because Americans are at systems, everything that's connected to internet, it's been attacked. Alright, so FBI is for the domestics and the CIA is for internationally affiliated US companies. Our CIA doesn't do for the non-US company at all. They do only for US companies affiliated globally. So don't understand it in a wrong way. So anyway, so it's a big thing, all right, in CMMS. All right, so reports, it's the last one, so that's 160 different types of reports. Reports is one thing that every industry engineer and the technologist got to deal with, all right. And if you get into a middle management and you have somebody to assist you, then you can delegate reports or a job to your assistant or something. There are more than 15 or distinct areas, but we're not getting into it because we're in the maintenance class. So that's go with the project management and office RI procedures. That's another different course for you to understand. Anyway, so such as STAT, preventive maintenance, work requests, order, scheduling, inventory, and labor management. Okay, they're all in summaries. So if you know like about 160 different reports, okay, in 15 distinct areas, that's enough. We're not getting into details for any of that because again, this is completely linked to office or human resources people and other person in the office usually can handle the reports. All you have to do is just send your part to them. Yeah, that's about okay. So that's the end of unit 9, and unit 9 is a very small chapter. I'm gonna go ahead and put your review, all right, questions. So your study guide, so you can study for your last quiz, and the last quiz is going to be online, okay? Because we're doing a student presentation, so therefore you have to do the quiz online. It will be a locked down browser, so you can't really take anything out of it, right? So, but we're not so stressed on it. Maybe some student might be cheating by using two screen or something. Okay, don't do that. Okay, you have 100% trust from Mississippi State University, and you have already signed, right, that you're going to obey the honor code. So make sure you take the test as a test.